My Latin teacher told my classmates, oh, you know, James is the Chinese Jesus. Today, in today's society, I think you need to have some sort of be able to disagree. And Confucianism is fantastic. Obviously, it shapes Chinese culture and Asian culture. Confucius didn't want people to completely agree with what he said. He wanted discussion, debate.
Welcome to Jojo's Cross Borders. As we all know, Confucius' wisdom shaped the Chinese culture for centuries. As his 79th descendant grew up in London, I wonder what his upbringing and challenges he faced, and most importantly, his passion building bridges between East and West. Let's listen to James Kong's story. So James, so I wonder, what is your upbringing stories like carrying a legacy of the Confucius descent, like in London? What does it feel like when you was a child?
Wow, I feel very lucky, to be honest, to be part of the family. I've had such an interesting upbringing in my point of view. I didn't really realize it until I was older. You know, these different cultures, being in London and in the UK, I kind of was able to just be a normal school kid studying for his GCSEs, his A-levels, you know, trying to figure out where to go in life. But at the same time, I had these fantastic experiences where I was able to go back to China, take part in a lot of the ceremonies, and of course study Confucianism. And I'm very, very lucky to have been the son of my mum and my father, who are great parents, and my grandfather, who is an amazing role model. Unfortunately, he recently passed. But yeah, just to have that exposure to these types of people, I feel very, very lucky to have that. But it did come with, there are pressures as well, obviously, of this position. And I think trying to figure those pressures out as a young kid while trying to handle his GCSEs and A-levels was difficult. But I feel very privileged and lucky to have this position.
So I can imagine as like a normal British kids, and then you have a pressure of the schools, and then finding work, and then figure out your life.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you carry such a weight, right?
Yeah.
On your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like to participate in all this traditional Qufu ceremonies about the Confucius birth place, and then the rituals and business, like life and business cultures. Did you see yourself like just learning it, or you think like you blend them in naturally as a part of you?
That's a great question. It's interesting. I think, you know, when I was growing up, I was very nervous, and I didn't really know. I felt a lot of weight of the responsibility. A lot of different people told me how I should use my position, and I find that really interesting. People were saying, oh, you know, you've got to just focus and purely do academics on Confucianism. Someone else was like, oh, you should become a monk.
Really? People are saying that you should become a monk?
Yeah, and I mean, my Latin teacher, I was sick one week from school, and my Latin teacher told my classmates, oh, you know, James is the Chinese Jesus. And of course I'm not. So, you know, I came back in.
You should have a longer hair.
Oh, I tried during COVID. It wasn't a good look. But, you know, it was funny because I came back in and my classmates were like, well, we got told you're the Chinese Jesus. And I'm like, no. So it is quite strange. I think I remember during the Olympics in 2008 in Beijing, there was the ceremony, the opening ceremony, and they quoted Confucianism, and there was this whole, and I was a teenager, so the hormones might have made me a bit more emotional, but I started crying. I realized, wow, this means so much to so many people, and I'm so lucky that people seem to care about what I say and what I do because of the family I was born into. And I understood then that this weight and responsibility, it wasn't something I should push away. It's something I should embrace and try and use it for the better.
Oh, well, that was the moments you start to realize,
I think, you know, as a teenager, I've always felt privileged and honored, but I never knew what to do with it, because everyone always said, you should do this, you should do that.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult for me to try and understand what I should do.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, you know, it's a position that just comes from being born into a well-known family and the history behind the family and the cultural impact of the family. But you yourself haven't done anything, especially at that age, at 16.
Yeah.
So in my head, I thought, you know, why? What can I offer? And it took time. I think it wasn't something where I was born and, you know, at 7 years old, I went, right, that's what I'm going to do. That's how Confucianism is going to impact my life.
Of course, and you also growing up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think now, you know, I'm 32 as of yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. And I'm definitely feel very lucky that the people do, you know, care about the family, and what we can offer back to these people who care should be positive. You know, so thank you for having me on your show, and hopefully we can show good things together.
Of course, yeah. I know, like all the families, Kong families, like including your father, 78th like generation, and then they all gathering like together in Qufu every year to celebrate, to show the world the influence of Confucius like upon China. It's everywhere, everything, like music, arts, and then a life of living and leadership. So, but you were in one of those. You were many of those ceremonies, right? When since we were young, as a 79th descendant, right?
Yes.
How did you feel like when you have to follow 100% Chinese racial, like even tell me about like how did you feel for that?
Love it. I absolutely loved it. I think.
Do you think that's a show, or you belongs to that? It's part of related.
I think it's so important. I think ritual, tradition, ceremony is very important. Confucius, of course, believed in that as well. But this is history. It's culture. It's not just about the family at that point.
Yeah. Yes.
It's Chinese culture and history, and I think that's very important. And to be able to be part of that, yes, can be a bit nerve-wracking, a little bit stressful. But if you get the opportunity to be part of history, to be part of culture, and such a special culture, why would you not grab it with both hands? I mean, I remember when I was younger, you know, the drums were very loud. I was like 6 years old. The drums were very loud. There was a lot of people, and I was very nervous and I was very scared. But it's important that these traditions are kept up, 100%. And I think it's great that they are still upheld today, and people are able to take. Yeah. So we've got the sweeping the graves ceremony.
Yes.
And Confucius' birthday ceremony are two that I was part of. And it's nice that it's not just taking place in Qufu as well. Yeah. Other cities.
Yeah, we can't wait to show the world with all of that, right? Yeah.
I mean, it is fantastic. It's an amazing cultural event. I think people who are interested in Chinese culture, it's a great insight into to the history of it.
By talk about that, can we go a little bit further, explain to our audience like why this sweeping tombs and then going for the ceremony is so important, and then why, what is that part aligned for the principle from the Confucius?
I think a very good question. I think that you know, different people can benefit different things from ritual and ceremony. For me, I think it implies two things. One is, obviously for me, it's a very personal thing. So that's kind of a third, where for me it's probably the priority is this is when I'm visiting the graves, it's family. Yeah. And that's incredible, you know, and it's very emotional.
Ancestor.
Yeah, and it's very emotional. You're visiting your grandmother, and I get upset obviously when visiting it, but it's very nice to be able to do that. So sweeping the graves is something that's so important because it's respect for your elders, respect for your ancestors, respect for your family's history. So there's that, which is important. But two, a sense of being part of something somewhat bigger than you as well. Yeah. Part of the family, part of the culture, part of being Chinese. And you know, those two things with ritual, any ritual, can be important. I think having that cultural identity is very good for society. So I think it's very useful to have these rituals to bring people together.
Yeah, but the Confucius principle is also, I think the majority is like your respect for your elders.
Yes, yeah.
And that's come from there, right? And also family units like that is from this. So you respect. Now I can relate it like for you respect to your ancestor, therefore you respect for your father, parents, mother, parents, and then your siblings, brother and sisters. And then now in the modern society, I can see the deeper inside, this majority of the Chinese has respect to their boss as well, because that's all coming from the Confucius principle.
100%.
Yeah, that's what we need to point it out. So because as an executive coach, I see there's a conflict and people saying that Chinese people are very quiet. They never argue back. They never say no. It's not that we don't have opinion. It's we show you our respect. We don't want to be a confrontational in front of you as a part of respect to our elderlies, like which is rooted back from the Confucius principle.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I think, 100%. I think it's very interesting today in today's society. I think you need to have some sort of be able to disagree.
Yeah.
Disagreeability within you, if that makes sense. It's important to be able to say no. It's important to be able to put your ideas forward, even if people don't think it's the right idea.
Yeah.
It's important to be able to kind of, for example, say you're in a job, you think you've done a good job, you want to get a promotion. If you think part of being respectful is not speaking at all, then I think you misunderstand respect. So I think in this aspect, you have to have some level of being able to speak out, to say, but it's how you phrase it. I've been working really hard. I would love to talk to you about potentially promotion or something like that. Is different to, I've done this for the company. I should be getting a promotion. So that I think how we phrase things, you're right, it can be seen as a sort of weakness when it's actually respect. And that's definitely something that is embedded in Chinese culture.
Yeah.
So I think that.
But what you're saying that is so valuable. You know why? Because like lots of what we learn academia, like we learn you need to follow the principles and not say no to when your father tell you, blah, blah, blah. Like in the Asians, like yes, right?
Yes.
So therefore, the generations of Chinese, they're not like, they don't like conflicts. But what you're saying that is so valuable now, so for especially young Chinese people, especially overseas Chinese, you need to be able to say no. Say no or make yourself voice heard. It doesn't mean that you not respect others. It's the way you're saying that.
100%. So you use the example of a father, correct? Yeah. So, obviously growing up, you want to go out with your friends or something, but your parents say, you have this class or you have to study. I think it's important to let them know how you feel. I think that's a good thing to do, but they have all the right to say no as well, because they can be disagreeable. And this is all about communication and how you communicate. Now, if you're communicating with an aggressive intent or aggressive tone, the chances of you getting a yes, even if you do get a yes, your relationship is soured. And I think that's important to think about. With family, you should not sour that relationship. Would you really create a bad relationship with your parents just to spend one night with your friends? That respect goes both ways.
Wow, this is so deep. Well, that's, I understand that. I'm talking about like, that's so good for the young people whether they want to just yell at back saying that, no, I want to do that. Think about that. So pause it, think about the respect, and then think about the family harmony.
Yes. Yeah, communication is the most important thing.
Communication.
And how you communicate. So that being respectful is, yes, of course, how you act and what you do, but it's also how you communicate. And you can still be agreeable, but respectful. And I think that's where people people get confused on how can I be respectful but still disagreeable. And that is a skill in itself.
Yes, not just the families, also for everything, every context.
100%. It applies
as well.
to your whole life.
Yeah, okay, cool, right. So now let's talk about like the bridges you want to build between the East and West. Now after you feel like the sense of duty and then you realize being proud of your family and then the influence upon for Chinese. So what is your plan, like what you want to do, show the world about what you're doing or what you can help?
Well, growing up, like I said, I've had a very lucky upbringing in the fact I was exposed to so much education regarding Confucianism. And Confucianism's fantastic, obviously. It shapes Chinese culture and Asian culture. And if you look at how China has developed, you have to say it's done a very good job of developing the culture. So, I'm very, very happy with how it's affected my life and affected Asian culture. But I think it's something where in the West we can still benefit from it, because it is, at its heart, it's a philosophy, and people in the West can be Confucian without realizing they're being Confucian. Very
can you give us an example?
Yeah,
please?
very generic example. I love football.
Yeah,
huge fan of football. The Lionesses won the Euros most recently. And Sabrina Weigmann, the manager, and the players were incredible. They were incredibly resilient, led by example. Fantastic. These are all Confucian values. The resilience, the leading by example, all Confucian values. The whole team respects Sabrina Weigmann, respect for your elders. All Confucian values. Do they study Confucianism? No, but they have Confucianism within them. Now, potentially, more people do have Confucianism within them and they don't know it. If you study the Analects, maybe you'll learn more about yourself and even develop those principles more. So Confucianism to me is a tool in order to develop your own principles that you might even be following. Already you could have the general idea of Confucianism already there, but studying the Analects, studying Confucianism allows you to really define those. Yeah, it's a tool, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it's something. What's really important is teaching people how to think, not what to think. And I think in education in the West these days, it's very much this is exactly how it is. And I think the study of Confucianism also in the West is very much, they're trying to find out exactly what he meant, rather than it being okay.
You talk about like a Confucius academics institution, right?
Yeah. I think it's important that we accept that there could be multiple different meanings, or even it's a personal meaning to that person. Confucius didn't want people to completely agree with what he said. He wanted discussion, debate. Yeah, open dialogue, because he felt he could learn something from them as well. When three people are walking, you can learn something from.
This is not new for me because I live in London, but it's new if I'm just a Chinese student, it's new. We don't debate much. We listen to the professor. We listen to the principals.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic to listen to professor. You can gain a lot of information from the professor.
No, all we do is recite then write it down and then recite and remember, and then we be tested by the exam.
Right.
So that's how I get educated.
Yeah.
Before I came to London.
And I think.
But you said that Confucius is not about that.
No. But I think it also depends on the subject. So I think it's because at the end of the day, 2 + 2.
No, the methods of learning. Let's say not the subject, the method of learning.
Yeah.
So you said as the method of learning is quite opposite. It's like we want a discussion, we want a debate. It's how.
Yes.
To.
Yeah, I think and I think this in a broad sense, of course, this seems quite silly, but in a broad sense, that applies to every subject as well. Like a 2 + 2 in math equals 4. We know this. Obviously, it equals 4. And why it equals 4? Because if you put 4 things to 2 and 2 together, it equals 4.
Yeah.
So why in other subjects are we that sort of reasoning isn't always applied? This is exactly what happened. Yeah. Why did it happen?
Yeah.
when we learn about history, for example, if we learn about the Second World War, for example, and you learn it started when Hitler invaded Czechoslovakia, I believe.
Hope so.
And and then there was appeasement. I think they then declared war, but there was sort of this period where there was no war. Anyway, point being, I think it's also important to learn all the reasons behind what happened.
Yeah.
Because then you really can see
what made that happen.
And analyze, why did something so terrible happen? How can we stop that from happening again?
Well, this is the eye-opening for me to learn Confucius teaching us how to think rather than what to think. Thank you so much. Yeah. Right, you have the same passion as me with building bridges between East and West. So can you tell us more about the bridges you're building?
So I started a business called the Kong Academy. We are launching with some programs for Chinese students to come over to the UK, ages 14 to 18, who are interested to study in English-speaking universities.
Yeah.
The course will have English courses. They'll have excursions to British heritage sites. But the thing that makes it different is they'll also be learning about Confucianism in a practical way, preparing them for being an adult leadership.
In the practice way.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting for
principle versus the practical.
Yes, and I think, in many ways it's to show them that Confucianism, while it's obviously a big part of China, it can apply to things in the West as well, and hopefully prepare them better for adulthood as they know more about themselves and they have more confidence.
But from here, I can see not only for Chinese students, I think all the students need to equipped with this ability, like using the Kong, using the Confucius principle to helping them get ready to deal with these life challenges, especially in the now's challenge world, right?
Yeah, 100%. The Kong Academy is about developing young people into...
Is that only become for young people?
No, there will be further expansion. So we're starting with the summer programs, summer schools really, to help grow the business more naturally.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of programs we've developed.
Yeah.
One's for adults, business leaders who want to understand a bit more about themselves and apply that to their business potentially. Sports as well. As a big football fan, I'm a football coach for Imperial College women's team, and I've definitely applied a lot of Confucian philosophy to my team, whether they know it or not.
Really? Yeah. Okay, tell us more. Like not just only learning the footballs, the skills. So what did you apply? Give us an example.
I think it's interesting. So, as a coach, obviously you need respect. The team needs to respect you, respect for your elders. You need to see them as all that they can achieve. I think a lot of the time people come in and people have this mindset of women's football. So they won't be able to do what men could do. When I came in, I saw them as my team, my players, and I didn't underestimate them. I overestimated them in many ways in terms of I want them to achieve all of this.
Would that helpful by overestimated them?
I wouldn't say it'd be helpful. I think, I didn't know what their limits were. And I didn't give myself any idea of, let's put a limit here or let's put a limit at the top.
So you have no limitation for your players?
No. For me, it was about, let's see how much they can grasp. And you know what? They were very, very good at grasping things. The Imperial College universities are the smart people, but applying, studying science to applying football tactics and roles and responsibilities is very, very different. But they were fantastic. So, there's this leading by example as well, something that I want players to do and something I have to do on the touchline, of course. And then there's being respectful to authority and elders, so with the referee, accepting the referee's decision even if you disagree, not kicking out at opposition players. I think it's important. People have this opinion that Confucianism isn't very compatible with football because football's aggressive, it's competitive, and
sounds like to me, but I'm an outsider, right? Yes.
But I think it's a perfect place to put Confucianism into, because the world is competitive. The world can be aggressive. Confucianism is something that can apply to the world. can apply to your life outside of football. Football is only a microcosm of that, really. So
that's what you do, right?
So these principles where I try and lead by example, I make sure my team respects the referee and authority. You know, there's definitely, you know, and they respect me, which is very nice, obviously. But also, I try not to put limits on them. I respect them, what they can achieve, and if I do that to them, maybe they'll do that back to me. And because of that, we won the league.
Wow!
And we were fantastic. They were brilliant.
Good skills with the principles. So in the talk about this in the stressful world for the young people and then entrepreneurs. So what would be your advice? Using the Confucius philosophy for them to cope with these challenges?
It's a good question. Again, Confucian philosophy for me is about self-development, learning more about yourself, giving you confidence. And you need confidence to be an entrepreneur, to build a business, because you'll have a lot of people, you'll receive a lot of no's. You'll have a lot of people who don't believe in you. You'll have a lot of people who go, you know, what are you doing? What is this idea?
All right,
and entrepreneurship is tough. You have to have a lot of self-belief. People within your family might worry and think, oh, you know, are you sure this is a good idea? Are you sure you know what you're doing? So Confucianism hopefully will give you that confidence in yourself. It's almost like a bouncing board. So every single time you get a no, you think about that analect, that saying, and you go, okay, I can keep going. I believe in myself. I can keep doing that.
So confidence,
Confidence, yeah. I think the other thing is, again, going back to the football team, not putting limits on yourself in terms of investors as well. Confucius, you know, he believed young people, don't disrespect young people because you don't know what they could achieve. And I think that also applies to people who are looking at investing. You know, if there's an idea and someone's come to you with an idea, don't be so dismissive until you've really listened to it, until you've heard it out. Maybe you can help them. Maybe you can be a mentor if you see potential. I'm sure a lot of people already do this. But again, that's Confucian value that they are applying for a young entrepreneur looking at building their business. Have confidence, have self-belief, really work hard. You know, don't think about what you already deserve. Think about what you're doing that deserves recognition. Again,
yes,
all of these are just Confucian values, and how when you read that, what does it mean to you? Can you apply that to your life? Can you take that forward into your business?
Wow. Well, this is so useful and practical. Thank you so much for James today, and then your insights and your experience. And then we're looking forward to hear more about your academy.
Thank you, Julia.